The federal government has tendered 9 boxes filled with different currencies allegedly recovered from the Abuja residence of Justice Sylvester Nguta. The prosecution had failed to tender it as evidence at the last sitting because the evidence was not brought to court early. Prosecution witness Mr. John Utazi, who had at the last sitting told the court that several boxes filled with monies were recovered during a search of the judge's residence on October 7, 2016, tendered the monies as evidence. The boxes were opened during the proceeding, revealing the cash contained inside. Having tendered the items as evidence, the trial judge, Justice John Soho, adjourned to May 26th for cross-examination of the prosecution witness by the defense. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Navy says its operations in the northeast, especially in the Lake Chad basin, has not only boosted security but also boosted economy in the region. The Chief of Naval Policy and Plans, Rear Admiral Henry Babalola, explained troops have cleared the waters of criminal elements and ensured a continuous patrol of the region. He was speaking at an event in Abuja to commemorate the 51st anniversary of the Nigerian Navy. Our correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
The people living in the Lake Chad basin, the advent of Boko Haram insurgency meant the loss of their livelihood, which is mainly fishing. But sometime last year, the Nigerian Navy established a naval outpost in the northeastern part of Nigeria to safeguard the maritime elements in the region. At an event to x-ray the operations of the Nigerian Navy in the last 1 year, the Nigerian Navy says the decision has paid off as economic activities are gradually returning to the region owing to the efforts of the Nigerian Navy and other security agencies.
The theater commander, the maritime commander, have attested to the fact that since we inserted personnel on the lake, there has been a lot of remarkable progress. As you are aware now, before the Navy inserted their personnel on the lake, fishery activities was almost at a zero level because of security concerns there. And I can assure you today that fishery activities have resumed, but it's not gotten to the peak of the pre-conflict. But I think we have made remarkable difference.
Beyond the northeast, the Nigerian Navy also boasts of doing more to protect the nation's maritime assets, especially in the Niger Delta region.
Additionally, the period witnessed the induction of 150 boats for riverine operations, perhaps the first. Furthermore, the Nigerian Navy has successfully conducted several exercises and operations in the past 1 year. Operation Eagle Eye was launched between 1st and December 2016 to checkmate the activities of pirates within the creeks of the Niger Delta region.
The Navy says its achievements notwithstanding, it will do much more to ensure the protection of critical economic assets of the country. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
Barely 7 months after the Lagos State Model College Igbonla Ekpe was attacked by gunmen, the kidnappers again stormed the school hostel today, abducting 6 male students. Our sources say the gunmen broke the wall surrounding the school to gain access to the premises in the early hours of today. The Commissioner of Police in Lagos State, Fatai Owushini, and the Commander Rapid Response Squad have visited the school. It was alleged the kidnappers had earlier this week written to the school to inform them of their visit. The school promptly notified the police, who immediately took up strategic positions in the area. However, that did not stop the abductors from carrying out their dastardly act. The kidnappers are rumored to have been lurking around the vicinity, bidding time for another attack on the same school. In other news, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the governor of Kogi State, Mr. Yahaya Bello, registered twice as a voter in Nigeria, an action the electoral umpire says is illegal. INEC, in a statement signed by its National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Solomon Shoyedi, says Governor Bello first registered on January 30th, 2011 in the Wuse Zone 4 area of Abuja, and then registered a second time on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2017 at Government House, Lokoja, the capital of Kogi State. The electoral umpire says the governor's action, which it terms as double registration and registering outside of INEC designated center, is illegal, and INEC says it dissociates itself from such. INEC went further to say that it did not authorize any of its staff to re-register the governor, and outside a designated voter registration center. It promises to take disciplinary action against the INEC staff involved. INEC, however, says it is handicapped in prosecuting Governor Yahaya Bello as he is protected by law while in office, but has cancelled the governor's second registration. And here is Ibrahim Adra with more on the news at 10 from our studio in Abuja. Hi, Ibrahim.
Hello, Amarachi. Now, the National Economic Council has approved the sum of 2 billion naira to be given to 19 states, respectively, from the Ecological Fund as compensation. The governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, who briefed State House correspondents after the meeting, said investigations revealed that the former administration selectively distributed the ecological funds to states based on favoritism.
So what our committee did was to give an interim report on how the entire ecological fund has been utilized from May 2010 till date. And we realized that a lot of the deployment of the fund was based on discretion of the president, and there is a need to establish very clear criteria for the use of the 65% of the federal government share among the states of the federation. The committee informed the council. We found, we established this beyond all doubt, that in the year 2013, the administration of President Goodluck Jonathan gave 2 billion naira each to certain states of the federation, but excluded other states. So out of the 33.6 billion in the ecological fund right now, there is a presidential directive that the ecological fund office must maintain a minimum balance of 20 billion in case of any emergency, any natural disaster requiring intervention, which means there is only about 13 billion available for distribution to the states that were discriminated against.
Meanwhile, in a bid to ensure that Nigeria has a legal framework on climate change to coordinate all efforts, strategies and programs of government, a legislation on the matter has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, which also seeks to establish the National Climate Change Council, will help in identifying and mobilizing financial resources to support climate change actions across the country. The sponsor of the bill said the issue of climate change has led to developmental and security challenges, which the legislation seeks to address.
It is important to note that climate change has been identified as part of the causes of developmental and security challenges that we face in the country today. The shrinking of Lake Chad has led to drastic reduction in agricultural activities in the northeast, causing migration of herdsmen, farmers, and others that previously depended on the lake. Desertification and drought, these have all combined to create migration problems. And what have we harvested from there? Because we have not taken action, some of these individuals who have been affected have already moved. And in the course of their movement, they have created problems for the nation.
In Cross River State, Governor Ben Ayade is taking steps to mitigate the impact of climate change with a symbolic planting of 50 trees. The governor says this is in line with his policy of retaining the serenity of Calabar, the state capital. It was accompanied on the exercise by 2 former military administrators of the state, among other indigents, as part of activities marking the 50th anniversary of the state. And 263 civil servants in Sokoto State have benefited from home renovation loans facilitated by Governor Aminu Tambuwal, an undertaking by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The governor says the facility is meant for workers to renovate their houses to habitable state. He was speaking at an event in Sokoto organized to disburse the loans.
Governor Aminu Tambuwal presenting checks to beneficiaries of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria Home Renovation Loan Scheme. The initiative is one of the programs of the State Civil Service to improve service delivery and reward hard work.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
the governor says his administration has placed emphasis on staff welfare and will continue to introduce policies that will lead to improved productivity of workers in the state.
We have ensured that the enabling working condition is created through constant provision of working implements and adequate funding so that ministries, departments and agencies can render quality service to the citizenry.
While we are willing to reward committed staff, we are equally determined to punish all officers who glaringly demonstrate lack of commitment to work. We shall ensure that appropriate punitive measures are taken against those found wanting in this regard.
The state government facilitated the loan from the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, who is disbursing the sum of 2.3 billion naira under the home renovation loan schemes nationwide. Each of the beneficiaries got 1 million naira loan under the arrangement.
At this juncture, I would like to commend the commitment and cooperation of Sokoto State Government in executing this document tirelessly, which has enabled the bank to approve the total sum of 243.1 million naira for 263 beneficiaries for the first and second set of workers from the state who have benefited from the land.
Meanwhile, 6 staff, 3 from the junior cadre and another 3 from the senior cadre from each ministry, department and agencies in the state received monetary gifts and merit awards for their diligence and punctuality in their places of primary assignments.
And when the news at 10 returns, federal government offers reassurances of Nigeria's economy coming out of recession in 2017. That's coming up in Business News. Do join us again.